Hey y'all, well summer is upon us and I have been busy trying to finish up a few spring projects. So let me show you what I've been up to this week in the garden. Well, it can't always be drinking bubbles on the patio. Sometimes you have to put in some hard work in the garden. And that's what this week is about. I am trying to finish up a couple of projects that summer is here. It's soon we need to be to upkeep, weeding, watering up and that sort of thing. Fortunately, we have not had to do much watering so far because we have had a very rainy spring. And in fact, on Saturday night, we had over 2 inches of rain. So things were mucky there, but they're drying out. So this is this week's project, the front flower bed. Now, when we moved in, this had some good structure. It had the hollies and the azaleas and the rocks. But it was clear that it had not been taken care of for a while. There was all sorts of weeds in the flower beds. And there was weed fabric in here, but it had stopped working long ago. Weed fabric does not last that long. So we got in here that first season and we gave this a good weed and we pulled all that weed cloth out and it was just like a carpet of weeds. So we got that done and we mulched it really heavily and that it looked really good. Now here we are 2 years on. We've had some washout in places where the mulch has thinned out. And so it was time to do a top dressing of mulch, and it's been on my list to do all spring, but I was waiting on a couple of things. One, for the mulch I like to go on sale at Lowe's, which it finally has. And also I wanted to get the shrubs trimmed and really clean up everything in this bed before we gave it its mulch. So we're getting closer. We got quite a little bit done over the weekend. Himself and nephew Sam got the hollies trimmed up and there's some hedges back here. Those are trimmed up and I got all that in, weeded up to right there and mulched. And so I have been working on this. This is my second day working on this. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We've got one little patch right here. The worst of it is right here. We're going to get that weeded and then we're going to get some mulch on it. Also, I don't like this shirt. I ordered it and I should have returned it, but I didn't. The fabric is a little, I don't know. Just doesn't feel good. You ever put on something and it just doesn't feel good? Yeah. So, but because we don't particularly care for this shirt and the mulch bags are a bit wet. So if we get red mulch stain on this shirt, we do not care. We do not care. So this is the hard at it outfit of the day. Shirt you don't like, hair in a braid, lots of sunscreen, no makeup. So yeah, lots to do. So we're going to get the weeding done. We also need to give this as you can see, let me bend down here where you can see it. We've got a nice brick edge here, so we want to get that trimmed in as well, finish up the mulching, and yeah. So, but I do want to show you a couple of things before I get to work. This side of the house is morning shade, afternoon sun. So I can work out here a pretty good length of time in the mornings, but I can see the sun creeping this way. So we gotta get busy. But first of all, look at this salvia, this blue salvia. Oh, it's covered with little bumblebees. which is another reason why we pull weeds. We don't use spray. I know there's some out there that claim to just not harm things, but no, we're just gonna, hey, little bee, how's it going? We pull weeds. We try our best to protect the bees. Now, this particular salvia is zone adjacent, meaning sometimes it survives our winter, sometimes it doesn't. And this year, I had 3 out here last year. And this one came back, and it's gorgeous, and I love it. So I've done a couple of things in the garden that might turn out to be gardening fails, and we're keeping it honest, people. So we moved a rose yesterday. This is the Lady of Shalott rose. It was over there. It was a little too close to the walkway, to the water hose. And I meant to move it in spring, and it just didn't happen. And it's bloomed, and it's had a few pretty blooms, but it had a bunch of sprawling branches, and something was chewing on some of the leaves and whatnot. So because the ground is so wet, I decided to chance it. And I gave it a hard prune, and I moved it over here where it's back more out of the way. It's not near the water hose. You can come in behind here if you need to get back in here for something. So we gave it a hard trim. There's some greenery back here. I'm seeing a bit more dead that I could go ahead and cut out. So this may turn out to be a gardening fail, but yeah, we did that. And also the reason we went ahead and did it is because let me show you something that I've added in where this rose was. So this is why I went ahead and moved the rose. So the rose was right about here. So it was getting in my walkway. So that was why I wanted to move it. And then I was out running errands, and there is this little it's one of those places that sells plumbing and house stuff and whatnot. I think it's like closeouts and things. And from time to time they have plants. So they had gotten some yard art in. So I stopped to look at that, and they had some plants, and I'm like, oh, let's see what they've got. And they were having a sale, and I got this big, beautiful plant. This is Proven Winners Valentine Crush Hardy Hibiscus. It's a bright red, Valentine's Crush. Imagine that. And I thought this would be great for this space because I also backed it over a little bit so I have more room for the walkway. So this will be bushy, but it doesn't have thorns. So it won't be that big of a deal to walk past. Also, I have to keep a water hose up here. So this will kind of detract from the fact that the hose is up here, and it'll go dormant in winter. But then, then we're just going with the bones of the bed with the evergreens, and the water hoses are out of here and whatnot. So that's why I went ahead and moved it, is because I got this. And I think it's going to be really nice here. So yeah, this area we're ready to mulch. So my idea of a perfect day would be to get up, putter on the patio, drink my tea, and then get my gardening clothes on and work for a couple of hours especially in the summer, until it gets warm, and then go in and work on indoor projects or do something fun. But on a week like this, when I am trying to get a lot done, that is not the schedule. Life is seldom perfect. So on a week like this, when I'm trying to get a lot done, I want to finish up a bunch of these spring projects because summer is here. It's getting hot. So I want to be done with this because I know I'm going to have to start watering probably soon. We've been very fortunate to have had, rain. Pretty much hadn't had to water very much at all, but I know that summer in Oklahoma that will come to an end. So I need to be ready to be on weeding and watering and maintenance through the heat of summer. So, like on a day like today, I worked in the garden this morning until lunchtime. I went in, I got cleaned up, I did some things indoors, I went to town, ran some errands, and now that I'm back home, I have changed it back into work clothes. Yes, a fresh set of work clothes because I am not putting I dropped those sweaty, ones I had on this morning. I dropped those in the washer when I went indoors this morning. So anyhow, I'm back out here. I'm gonna get a bit more done in the garden. But I've learned the rhythms of my garden. So I'm in a shady spot. So I'm not where the sun is just beating down on me. I am here, just off of my front porch. This morning, I finished up weeding and mulching everything down the other side, which is the sunny part, which is the hardest part. So this part is relatively easy. It's much more shaded. It doesn't have nearly the weeds. It's just a few little things here and there. Maybe pick up little sticks and whatnot, trim a little bit. So I'm getting this ready. I'm just gonna get a little top dress of mulch on here. But while I was here, I wanted to take this opportunity to clarify something. So several times I have said, when I'm talking about daffodils, that, I'm just going to rip those out. They're done for the season. I'm just going to rip those out. And himself, who watches my videos, says to me, you make it sound like you're ripping the whole thing out. And so I thought I'd clarify that. No, I am not ripping the whole bulb up. I am simply walking up and pulling up the greenery. Just this. That's all. The bulb's still in the ground there. Just plucking these off. So pretty simple thing to do. So I'm going to get a few more things done in the garden, working in the shady areas. And I will meet you on the patio here in a little bit, to give you a bit of an update of what is going to be coming this summer and in the next few weeks, and maybe a little bit of a spring recap. We shall see. But I'll see you in a bit on the patio. So I'm feeling really good about what all I've accomplished in the garden this spring. First of all, the biggest project, of course, was last week's video of the fountain, which has been going on since back in March. So, but technically it's part of the garden and the patio life and all that. But, I was not doing the majority of that work. I was, cheering them on and feeding them and that sort of thing. I wasn't didn't do a lot of that. But as far as the actual gardening projects going on, really happy to have gotten the back border done. That was quite a big project, starting with the load of mulch dropped on the driveway, and I worked on that for several weeks. I started out weeding and planting, and then we'd have a lot of rain, and so then there'd be more weeds would pop up. So I'd get a section done, and then I'd have to go back to weeding again and get another one done. So that was a really big project to get done, and it is looking so good. I am sitting right here, looking out on it, and it just makes it look so clean and tidy out there. And then mulching in the front of house. Now, you may have noticed that I'm using red mulch up there rather than the natural brown mulch that I used in the back border. And the reason for that is when we moved in, the red mulch was already there around the house. And whilst there was needed redone, it would have taken a lot of work to dig all that out, and I just didn't want to do that. So we went back with the red mulch. And in the past, I've not been one to use the red mulch. I usually go for the natural, but I really kind of like it. It looks good with my brick. And then it also, my plants I've picked out complement my brick. So you have the oranges and reds and the contrast of purple and yellow. So I think it all comes together, and I'm really liking how it's turned out. I have one little corner left to do. And in fact, I might do it after I finish recording this. Now, one project that I did not get done was the dry creek bed. I had envisioned doing a rain garden through that because, it's a dry creek bed. It's where when it rains heavily, the water runs through and drains on out down the way. So I had visions of doing a rain garden there. And it just didn't happen. We had a very early spring this year. The citrus have been out since, March. Sometime in March, I brought them out. And I've never done that before. So early spring, and a lot of rain. So of course we had a ton of weeds, and so it just got away from me. So, I think what we will probably do with that is there's some big rocks around the edges. I think we'll weed eat around those and mow where we can and kind of tidy it up a little bit, and then let that go and maybe work on it this fall, or maybe it just goes back on the list for next year. Gardens are always a work in progress. So, do you have any big projects that you've gotten done this spring that have turned out really well, or are you still working on something? I'd love to see it or hear about them. You can let me know in the comments, or you can also post pictures in the community tab here on YouTube of Pemberley, Oklahoma. I always love to see other gardeners' projects. It's such fun to see the way that what people are inspired to do from all across the world. So if spring is all about planting and projects, summer is about surviving the heat of summer. Especially here in Oklahoma, we get very hot and very dry. So there will come a time when we're all about weeding and watering and harvesting the garden and just keeping things up and maintaining them throughout the summer. But so we don't usually plan a lot of big projects in the heat of summer. That's a spring thing, and also fall and fall is a great time to do projects here in Oklahoma. So, but as far as the YouTube channel goes, because it's a new season, it's a perfect time to reflect. I am feeling really proud of the progress I have made with my videos. Because when I started out, I didn't have a microphone, and I was having trouble with uploading and the quality, and I've kind of gotten in a groove and figured that out somewhat, although there's some new things I still want to try as I have time. I've learned a lot about editing, and I was so proud to learn how to do those transitions on YouTube Create. And part of this whole project was to challenge myself with something new as I'm welcoming my new decade. I will be turning 60 in a few days. So yeah, it's been a challenge, but I'm having fun and I'm enjoying it. I would like to improve my quality as far as when I'm filming is gardening, when I'm like sharing what's blooming in the garden. If you're watching on a phone or a tablet, it's probably fine. But if you're watching like on the big screen, like himself does, the movement is a little jerky and, can be a little unsettling. So I want to work on getting better at my garden tours. So that's something I want to work on this summer. And as far as, videos I'm going to do and all, I have been wanting for a long time to do a full garden tour. And I was thinking I would get that up for next week. But the more I think about it, I think rather than doing a very long video of the entire garden, I'm going to break that up into two videos for June 26th, and I think the first Friday in July is July the 3rd. So I'm going to break it up into two, and that will also help because when you're filming outside, you're at the mercy of the weather, and you like to do it when the garden is freshly mowed and looks its best. So that's what's coming up for the next couple of weeks. And then after that, for summer, I've got an idea or so of something that I think I want to work on for a summer series. So work in progress. We shall see what becomes of that. And in other exciting news, I have wanted for a while to have a logo made for my YouTube channel. And I knew exactly what I wanted, but I am artistic in I can look at a spot in the garden and go, oh, let's put this and this there. But when it comes to designing something and artwork and that sort of thing, I got no clue. I don't know what I'm doing. It's not me. Not able to do that. So I was at a plant swap with my garden club, from where I used to live. I am still a member, even though I don't get to attend everything because it's about a 45-minute drive. So I'm at the plant swap. It was it was for National Garden Club Week. And if you get a chance to go to a plant swap, it's so much fun. You never know what you're going to get. And you can also, if you have something that you like, but it doesn't go in your garden anymore, you can get it to a good home. So it was so much fun. And so while I was there, I was visiting with garden club members, and they had been, working on some signage and some artwork for various projects and things. And I was like, well, this is what I want for a logo for my YouTube channel. So many of the YouTube channels have a mascot. Cecilia from Svalbard has Grim, her dog. Laura from Garden Answer has her cats. Yeah. I have Mr. Nutney, the little gray squirrel he's just adorable. He runs all over the backyard, and I talk to him all the time. And so he's just adorable. And so I wanted Mr. Nutney in a top hat and cravat. Like the hero of a Jane Austen novel that he is. So I was telling somebody this. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'd really like to do. And one of the garden club members, Logan, goes, I can do that for you. And so Logan, this is what he made for me. And it's perfect. It's just what I wanted. it just makes me happy every time I look at it. And we incorporated the fountain in behind Mr. Nutney. So that is going to be going up as my profile pic on my YouTube channel and also on my Pemberley, Oklahoma Instagram. So I'll be getting that up in the next day or so. So it's been a really good week, really good few days. I am, I'm tired. We've put in a lot of work this week, but it's all worth it when I drive past the front of the house and see it all mulched and tidy. Just makes me feel so good. I've accomplished so much in the last few days. But I am looking forward to slowing down a bit in the heat of summer. We've gotten a lot done. So don't forget to check out the Flower Friday pics. They will be here on YouTube's community tab. You can also find them on Pemberley, Oklahoma Instagram. It's been a good week. We're tired, but it's been a good week. So with that, happy Flower Friday, and I will see you next week.